Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 6, Week 8, Day 4. So today, apparently, some people were talking about earlier, I didn't actually check it yet, but apparently the Mythic got nerfed as far as what's going to be coming out as tomorrow. So we definitely need to go check that out. Aside from that, of course, we got the class event, and we'll also be finishing up the world event, which it might already be. Let me double check. Oh no, we still gotta do our battles. But that'll probably be the last time we need to get our battles in, because by the time tomorrow night rolls around, probably have all the points. But anyways, also, did we have Imperial off of Adventure Board today? I'm pretty sure we did. Let me double check. We did. That's pretty nice. 1 Imperial and 6 greens. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. I don't think my offers were good, though. Oh no, I already grabbed it. It was the red offer. And of course, it's so expensive to get the blue. I'm not sure why they make it so pricey. Even at 500, it'd be questionable if it's worth it. Also, why won't it let me get out of my menu? They won't let me out unless I buy something. They won't let me out. What happened? It got frozen. It legitimately will not let me out of the screen. They really want me to go buy one of those offers, don't they? Okay, let me go restart this real quick. I have no clue what happened. That was weird. I've never seen that happen before. I got frozen on the offer screen. They really wanted me to get one of those offers. They held the screen hostage. Anyways, that was so weird. I've never seen that happen before. There it goes. Why didn't you do that earlier? Anyways, so let's go over to new Mythic. People were talking earlier during the other stream that we're doing today that they nerfed the Mythic. So let's go look at that first, since that's pretty relevant, since that's coming out in 6 hours from now. Or sorry, yeah, 6 hours. 6 hours, right? No, math. 7 hours. 7 hours from now, the Mythic will be available. Let's go see what it does. Let's go bring up the nice little graphic thingy for it. Let's go put in its new little tab. Let's see what happened here. What happened? What happened? Okay, 30 mana cost. That's not too big a deal. As long as it still does what it did before. Oh, no, it doesn't. Convert all yellow gems to Uber Doom Skulls with no additional creation. And then Curse, Web, and Poison, the strongest enemy. Okay. Interesting. Still conjures a Uber Storm when an enemy dies. Its spell reduction has been reduced from 50% to 25%. Wait, wasn't it 50% before? I could have sworn it was 50% before. And, it still has this Dark Ancestry. So they nerfed the spell reduction by 25%. They increased the mana cost by 6. And they got rid of the 3 yellow spawn. That definitely makes it weaker. I'm not sure if that makes it not viable, because that's still very strong. Though it does make it more likely it'll be used up front, mostly because of Archdiva. Because now it's even more relevant to feed it directly with mana. Because now it has a 3 higher mana cost than Lord of Slaughter. Before, Lord of Slaughter would have been the first slot, though you could still go down that route. The only concern now is that she might not get her mana. But yeah, before it was 24 mana cost, it was convert all yellow to Uber Doom Skulls with 3 extra. And it was 50% reduction. So they increased the mana cost by 6. They removed the 3 extra skulls that it creates. And they reduced the mana reduction by, or the spell reduction by 25%. Aside from that, it's the same. Overall, the same premise of the troop is still there. It's just slightly harder to use. And it's still a lot of Doom Skulls. And it's still the new Doom Skull mechanic. It still has double Doom Skull, both off its trait and off of its ability. So that's still good. It's just less good. It's good, but less good. Is pretty much what that Mythic is. That's still going to be pretty viable. I'll go clear up Barbarian class. So we made out the team on Monday. Going to be running Black Manacles, Double Dark Song into Fist of Heaven. That is the plan here. Should be pretty straightforward. We mostly have Fist of Heaven for the cleanup, and then the rest kind of just plays like a pretty standard Black Manacle team. But anyways, hello everyone! Hope everyone has been doing wonderful. Hello Mister, hello Bill, hello Isabel, hello Roman, hello Defiant, hello Daddy Shark, hello Cookie, hello Crisp, hello Michael, hello Logic Slayer, hello Mister, hello Stat, and hello everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was about to like trying to cast as if we had a Leprechaun. This isn't a Leprechaun team. Not yet, anyways. We will be running one sometime. It is not this one, though. It's not a bug, it's a feature, I know, right? So where can we spend Imperials on once we have a few kingdoms at 16 that block kingdom progress? Not sure what you mean by that question. So what do you spend Imperials on once we have the few kingdoms at 16? Do you mean color deed books or Imperials? Because Imperials you do to get all 15 star. Or work towards 15 star all if you haven't done 15 star all. And no one has done 16 star all. In which case the main thing blocking you is probably more so color deeds than it is Imperials. Because I believe that's what, 2 color deeds? But the problem is that how many you would have to have created though. For that to cover that amount. Also, why did I go with that? Well, it still works, so I guess it works. I was doing it for the one cascade, but I didn't realize the other one was there. I guess that works. Which one should we take 16 on next? I did it on Golvania. The 2 that need it, and the 2 that almost needs it. So the ones that can get past to that star, which is Magrum Woods and what's the other one? Magrum Woods and the other one. Where's the other one? Oh, it was Leonis Empire. But Magrum Woods and Leonis Empire are the 2 that require it. Mist of Scale pseudo requires it. It doesn't technically need it, but it needs it for its next objective, so you kind of want to have it so you don't have it giving tasks if you have 23 star. And Golvania just because of farming and also because of that 23 star thing. So basically any kingdom at 23 star or higher needs it, technically. Which, that's currently only 4 kingdoms. Mist of Scales and Golvania partially need it. And Leonis Empire and Magrum Woods actually require it. So those are the only 4 kingdoms you would have to get to 16. Well, you don't have to, but are advantageous to get to 16 compared to the other kingdoms. But every other kingdom it doesn't matter for. You could still do it if you have the resources for, but you can do it based on the ones that are like over 20. Like obviously Water Plains, if it gets another 2 troops, it's gonna be 24 star. But I'm just kind of holding and waiting till it actually happens. But those are the only 4 that specifically require it or indirectly require it, or that do require or indirectly require it, basically. Just those 4. Everything beyond that's optional, depending on what you want to upgrade if you have excess resources. Also, I'm not sure why I'm gonna keep going for that. I should just like take a random move and save that for the cleanup, because the main reason I want to save that for is his revive, of course. Luckily, he doesn't currently have his revive trait. He will in the next cycle, though. Also, has the stream been lagging at all? YouTube's been showing that message almost all stream. I'm not sure why. Did that the other day as well. Though besides from that, it's been running decently. Not sure why it does that sometimes. Yeah, I'm not sure why they over-nerfed the Mythic. They nerfed so many things at once on it. No lag here? Okay, that's good. Let me click refresh. Maybe it's just YouTube being weird. Probably just YouTube being weird. Pretty sure if I click refresh, it'll show it normally. Oh no, it still has that message there. That's weird. Not sure why. Because yeah, I'm looking at the playback right now and it's not lagging. But it's still showing a message as if it is. Oh, I'll take that for now. No, it has been restarted since then. I just restarted it like 30 minutes ago. Because I took a nap and then turned it back on after. Let's see, I'll take it over. I'm pretty sure it's just something with the service provider. Because we've done like every possible precaution many times, and it's like, nope, still lags. Does it very randomly sometimes, for seemingly no reason. Yeah, they nerfed the new Mythic. It now has a 30 mana cost instead of 24. It now only converts yellow to Uber instead of all yellow plus 3. And it has 25% spell reduction instead of 50. Those were the 3 changes. Final trait's still the same though. Still Uber Doomstorm when the enemy dies. And the premise of its ability is still the same, just slightly harder to get because you have to specifically be aligned. You can't RNG into it. You already have to have alignment for it to work. Which might change a little bit how you do it. Because obviously with something Lord of Slaughter or other similar troops where you get a slight extra bit of spawn, you can, you know, chance it if you don't currently have alignment. But if it's something that specifically requires alignment, then, well, you need alignment. Otherwise, I won't do it because you don't have any extras to chance it with. And you 100% have to have alignment before you use it. However, even if you only have a 3, you might be able to get good value. Like right here, if let's say we had the Mythic right now for yellow Uber Doom Skull with no extra additional gem creation, this actually explodes the entire board, right? No, not quite. It would explode most of the board. Like it might not seem like it might not, but this would explode that. That would then explode. Oh no, you know what? It actually wouldn't explode that. Never mind. It doesn't reach the corner. No, it does. Never mind. Yeah, it would explode that. So yeah, if we had the Mythic right now, all this would get exploded. All this, all this, all this, all this, all this. However, it wouldn't reach this section over here, which could be concerning because you don't have the extra spawn to try for it. But it explodes almost all the board, even though we're only getting this 3 match connected. So maybe that's the reasoning behind why they kind of did it. Because Uber Doom Skull, you're pretty much board clearing with any cast that you do of that. With that many Uber Doom Skulls. They watch my stream secretly. Yeah, I know. It's probably not top 10 Mythic, by the way, anymore. It's still viable. I don't think it's top 10 viable anymore. Like, I would still consider a Lord of Slaughter way stronger than it now. Before, it could possibly be the new Mythic would have been stronger than Lord of Slaughter. But it's kind of the other way around now. Lord of Slaughter's still better. It's still pretty high up there, though. It's just lower than it was. It does feel slightly over-nerfed. But still viable enough to use. At least it's not like a useless Mythic. They didn't nerf it that far. Yet. Wait till tomorrow. Maybe it's nerfed even farther than what's shown there. Well, I'll find out officially tomorrow when it's actually launched. Oh, so hello, Barbara. Welcome. Also, hello, Sushi Ninja. Oh, it's nice. Hello, too. Hello, Gem God. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, sorry, what was your message above? I didn't even say hello, and no, there it is. You still like the Mythic? Yeah, it's still pretty good. You had your second back surgery on Monday. Oh, I hope it went well. And now it's starting to feel better. Glad you're feeling better from that. Very nice. And my mom went for some kind of procedure recently. I forgot exactly what it was actually off the top of my head. Also, it's kind of funny. She was going to go and finally get the vaccine shot today. Because she was kind of hesitant on it and still didn't end up doing it, even after the New Jersey trip. But her doctor ended up kind of convincing her. But she went there today and they didn't even get the new shipment in, so she couldn't even get the shots. Which is kind of funny. Because they didn't get the other shipment in. What do you take here? I would assume the expiration date on those is pretty quick. I'll take that over. And the problem with the area that I live in is, like, basically no one's getting them either. So they're probably throwing away more than they're even using, realistically. Because it's definitely an area where people are definitely below average the rate of getting it. Oh, I would take care. Put it down for now. Do we even want skull spam here? Yeah, we'll go for it. Lord of Slaughter has no half mana start, but he has a way better ability. It also normally doesn't matter that he has mana start for how he normally plays. It matters some, but you'd have to waste a slot to put it in. And because he doesn't have one, you don't ever have to waste that slot. It's normally better to use that slot for Archdivas rather than a half mana start. Even with this new Mythic, I'm not going to probably use the mana start method. I might show it for a team. I don't feel like it's going to be the better method, though. I do feel like Archdiva is going to be the way, especially now with the higher mana cost on this new Mythic. Because now it's 6 mana more viable to use Archdiva than it was before. The only weird thing is, though, she's not really that good as a tank. And you'd kind of have to use her in first slot or second slot to realistically Archdiva for it. Which is a little bit weird if you're using it with Lord of Slaughter. Because if you do it with Lord of Slaughter, you'd ideally want Lord of Slaughter to be in front of your, I keep forgetting her name. But the new Mythic that's coming out tomorrow, you'd want to normally have your Lord of Slaughter in front of it if you're using both of them together. However, if you're using Archdiva in the team, you might actually want to have her in front of the Lord of Slaughter and have Lord of Slaughter in second. And use Lord of Slaughter how you normally would, but use her as a hope you get full mana, and if you do, you just kind of auto-win kind of thing. The biggest concern with her now, though, is if you don't have alignment, you're kind of out of luck. And it might just be better to try to build it around a team that can actually get alignment for her. Dasta said it's still viable. We gotta nerf it into the ground. Yeah, because I said that. Wait till tomorrow. It's gonna have a 50 mana cost, and it's gonna create 1 Uber Doom Skull. Just you wait. We're not done yet. It's gonna be like an Azurus for 50 mana cost, 1 single Uber Doom Skull. That'll be its ability, 100%. Oh, doing a grab here. Take that. The black mana goes down. Can we get alignment? Like, this is pretty much going to be the Mythic experience. Do you have alignment with Fist of Zorn? Then you would have alignment with with the other thing, with the new Mythic. The main difference being, though, is you can connect stuff. Also, you can set up into alignment, like doing stuff like that. Up or not. Not if Cascade says otherwise. Or not. Because right now, we're kind of basically using the Mythic's ability. Yellow to Skull. The only difference is they're skulls and not Uber Doom Skulls. Which I kind of forgot about that. Her color actually is empowered, isn't it? The yellow one. That's a bit of a weird color then. There's everything for the class event. It's not really too worth it, but gems are gems. Now let's go grab Imperials. That is one thing that is extremely worth it today. If there is any daily worth going for today in this game, it is definitely this one. If I could find where on earth my Phoenicia team is. 6 screens and a Imperial. Of course, the main loot being the Imperial, but more of the smaller deeds are still fine. They add up. Eventually, they will become a deed book. Deed books come into the game so slowly, though. Because realistically, over the course of, like 2 months is how long it takes to get, like, what, 1 deed book, pretty much? Maybe even 3 months? Unless you buy literally every offer of deeds that ever show up in your shop, which I'm pretty sure most people don't do, but some might. That get really pricey, though. I think it's 7,500, if I'm not mistaken, for a deed book if you do it that way. 7,500 gems, not counting the other resources. Just counting the deeds themselves. Or not the deeds, but you know, the color scrolls. Or yeah, the deeds, the color deeds. Not the Imperial, but the normal color deeds. It's like 7,500 in value for them. Unless you get some of them off the discount thingy. Or through Arena, which has that also slight discount. I'm assuming it's that base value. I believe it was 7,500 for one single deed book. Which is the main reason why I don't go for it. Because that would basically convert our gem stack into 4 deed books, which is pretty bad value. Given that each campaign gives 3 to 6. So it's kind of just worth waiting for on campaign. There's 3 on the free side, 3 on the paid side. There's also 2 Imperials on the paid side. It just doesn't seem worth getting deed books by any other means. Because they come in so slow everywhere else. Well, they come in slightly slow through here too. It's way quicker than how you'd be getting it otherwise. Because during the duration of a single season rotation, you're likely only getting the resources for about 1 deed book on your own through natural means within the game. Free to play or otherwise. You'd get 1 single deed book worth of deeds normally. And then the rest are pretty much just all from Campaign Pass. So that means Campaign Pass is around 75% to 90% of all deed books you would ever have. Or 85, somewhere around there. It's like 75 to 85 or somewhere around there. Percent of all the deed books you would ever own are specifically obtained from the season pass, with the percent being based mostly on if you're buying the pass or not, or if you're going free to play. At free to play, it'd be about 75% of the Imperials or deed books you ever get, and at paid, it'd be around 85-ish or so percent of the total deed books you would get, because it'd be 6 out of whatever the ratio of 6-7 is. I don't know, what is that ratio? Calculator, go. We'll get the exact math. What's 6 divided by 7? Go, calculator. 6 divided by 7 is 85.7. Hey, I almost got the right number. 85% is pretty accurate. Yeah, basically 85%. It's 85.7. 85% is close enough. Yeah, 75 to 85% of all deed books you ever get are from the Campaign Pass. 75% if you're free to play, around 85% if you're not. Anyways, where were we? We took the deeds, right? Yep, got all that. Anyways, let's go clear our dungeons. Then we'll go mess with World Event. And then we'll hand out a code and probably mess with token grinding for the rest of the time. Since unfortunately, even though we were talking about the Mythic, we can't use it till tomorrow. Of course, we'll have a video going up tomorrow morning going over it and mentioning the nerf. And specifically mentioning that point. Because it's a bit weaker than it was, though it's still pretty solid. We'll have to see how the changes affect it. And we'll have a video up in the morning going and obtaining it. And doing a key opening, first impressions, all that. And then we'll have a stream at noon messing with raids and probably messing with the Mythic a bit more than normal. But we'll see. I want to see how viable it can really be. That'll be kind of our first instance of really testing it out. See what it can do. Messing with teams on stream. Going from there. Alright, that should be all the dailies. So now we can go grind. Let's go get that token grind down. Of course, in Golvania. Oh, wait. Actually, before we do, World Event. Let me go do that. And then we'll hand out a code. Almost forgot about World Event. I have the wrong medal set right now. We should have about 8 battles as well, because we're right on Valraven rotation. I recall that from yesterday. So much so that this battle is almost guarantee of Valraven that we're doing right now. And if not this one, 100% the next one. But it should be this one. Oh, nope, not this one. Alright, there's no way we're not getting a Valraven next battle. We are really dry on it right now. Because we're still continuing from the chain from yesterday. And we should have gotten one, like almost any battle now. If it's not the next battle, I am exceedingly surprised. If we somehow do not get one by then. Also, how did nothing get full mana from that? It's actually rather impressive that nothing got full mana from that cast. I'm not sure why I targeted the one that was already closest to death when we have an AoE option on the team. There we go. Hey, if this is not a Valraven, there's something wrong. There it is. Okay. It was just one battle off. Oh no, the AI took a billion turns on me. I never got my first turn. There we go. Hello, Nexus. Hello, Poing. Hello, Michael. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, hello, Chris Dinner. Say hi. Welcome, welcome. You could use it with orally. We could try it that way. I'm not sure of every method we want to do yet. I know for sure I want to mess with Archdiva method. We'll probably do it with the mana start method, just to see how it rolls. And probably one other method, I'm not sure yet. Maybe a cheap team. Because this Mythic's actually still insane for lower level players, because you're still getting 10 damage per Uberdoom Skull. And that's a lot of damage. Hello, Tyrion! Welcome! Hope all's been well. How many medals to gold a Mythic? It depends on... Oh, wait. It's 1 Nisha, then 2 Nishas, then 3 Nishas. Or 3 Anus, then 2 Nishas, then 3 Nishas. Those are the 2 methods for 100%ing it. You can do it with non-100% methods. However, you might waste a lot of medals and a lot of souls. But if you're doing it with 100%, there's only 2 ways to do it. 1, 2, 3 Nisha, or 3 Anu, 2 Nisha, 3 Nisha. Those are the only 2 ways to 100% it. Unless you want to take chance. I haven't tried taking chances on Mythics yet. We will be at some point. I ideally want to have everything upgraded for a certain rarity before we start doing that. We're starting to get there at this lower 3 rarities, but not quite. I'm pretty sure some people have reached that point. I personally have not. Because it is technically possible to farm a Nisha every single week, and a full Nisha medal. It's actually possible to farm a entire Mythic upgrade every month. Though it requires you to play, like, I think 10 to 12 hours of this every single day. Or not this, but Explore 12. Specifically. Which obviously most people don't do. That's a lot of time. How did they nerf the Mythic? They increased the mana cost from 24 to 30. They reduced the extra gem spawn from 3 to 0. And they reduced the spell reduction by from 50% to 25%. Everything else is the same though, so it still has the Uberdoom Skull convert. It still has the Uberdoom Skull Storm. But it did nerf every other aspect. It's still very usable though. Still gonna be pretty good. Just less good than it was gonna be. But still good. I don't think it's top 10 anymore though. But it's still pretty high up there. Before it was like easily gonna be like a better Lord of Slaughter. Now it's like a worse Lord of Slaughter. But still kinda like Lord of Slaughter. It also still has really good synergy with Lord of Slaughter. That still hasn't changed. Slightly less so, but still amazing synergy. So why'd I do it on you? Why am I not hitting the guy with the best durability? Get poked. And he's dead. Double skull there. And we started another skull. Is there a new faction coming out tomorrow? No. We're getting raids tomorrow. New faction's not till... Actually, I don't think we have an official date for it. It's likely early November. And by early November, I mean like the first Friday of November, possibly. I don't think we have an official date for the next faction yet. But I believe it's either November 5th or November 12th. November 5th's one day after our birthday, too. Not sure what we're going to do on that Thursday yet. I currently don't have plans for my birthday. What mythic are we talking about? This one? That one? The Arc Proxy Yavandra. It's coming out tomorrow in 6.5 hours from now. I'll be going over a little bit later than that because we'll be sleeping then. But, excuse me, it's a Divine Elf from Zolkari. It's now 30 mana cost instead of 24. It converts all yellow into Uberdoom Skulls, which is the first thing in the game that creates Uberdoom Skulls. However, it no longer has the +3, just simply convert. And aside from that, it did get this edition. I don't think it had this before. It now curses, webs, and poisons the strongest enemy. I can't remember if it had that before, but it does now. Has the same Dark Ancestry as pretty much everything from Zolkari. Has spell armor. This used to be 50%. They reduced it to the 25% version. And it still has the same final trait, which is conjure an Uberdoom Storm when an enemy dies, which is the first instance that you can kind of create a Uberdoom Storm. So it still has those mechanics based on Uberdoom Skulls and everything. But they just nerfed a few values here and there. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Still has a lot of potential. Uberdoom Skulls are still going to clear pretty much the whole board. And we already know from things like Lord of Slaughter how much mana that can end up doing. Because Lord of Slaughter, despite 27 mana costs, doesn't generally have mana issues once he gets his first cast off. Getting the first cast off can be the issue, but beyond that point, he doesn't normally have an issue keeping it up. It's just starting that tends to be the problem. Which could be even more so the case with her because she has a 30 instead of a 27. So that could become a slight problem. The other issue with her is what if she doesn't have alignment? What will you do then? Because that's going to be likely without the extra gem spawn. Because now there's going to be turns where you just have to hold it and wait. Because there's just nowheres where you can use it. Also, I feel like we're starting to get to the point where normal skull spam might almost be quicker than this team. It's still working, though. Is there ever going to be a chance to get Nobert's Turnip? Yeah, whenever Zolkari event comes back around. Unfortunately, you can't get it this week. This team actually is not accessible if you don't currently have Norbert's Turnip. You can do something somewhat similar, but you'd have to use a completely different weapon. Rope Turret would kind of work for this team, but you don't have gem spawn on it, unfortunately. It would kill quicker, but it wouldn't do the mana thing. But yeah, Norbert's Turnip won't be available again until Zolkari has an event again. I don't believe they have an event anytime soon. Though it has been a little while since their event has rolled around, so maybe they do. I don't recall seeing it. I'm gonna go double check though. We're on the page. No, when's Zolkari in their next event? I mean, not Zolkari, I mean, yeah, it's not within visible sight. There is an event coming up for it though, because we're getting a Fairy Godmother. However, no official date has been assigned for it yet. But we are getting one in the somewhat near future. So in the next month, 2 months, maybe 3 months. Probably before the end of the year. We'll likely get another Zhejian event if you want to get the weapon. Though there is currently no official dates for when it is. However, it is somewhat recent enough that there's a troop coming out for it in the upcoming months. We just don't know when yet. We'll probably know the date once next patch comes out. We'll probably know an official date. Currently we do not though. But yeah, it's a pretty good weapon. It's one of the strongest ones from the area as well. It's one of the few extra turn weapons, which is one of the reasons why it's so ridiculously broken. I don't think there's a single extra turn weapon that isn't ridiculously good. And Norbert's Turnip is no exception. Just the whole premise of having extra turn on a hero weapon is ridiculously strong. Oh no, they're all Brawl Masters. We have a problem. We finally got to the point after all this time where we have to take the bad room. This is the point I was talking about earlier. Well, eventually you're going to be forced to have to take it. So it almost doesn't even matter which one you take. You still want to try not taking this room though. But then you eventually reach the point where it doesn't really matter what other order you prioritize in. You're eventually going to get to the point where you have to just take this. So as long as you avoid taking this room, you're probably doing the correct room. Because eventually it'll force you to take it. And now we just keep doing the middle one when we do our battles later. If we even need to do our battles later, I'm pretty sure the guild will be done tomorrow night. Before we even get around to it. Anyways, let's go hand out the code. Still haven't yet. And now we'll mess with token grinding for the rest of the stream. And then tomorrow, got a new mythic to go over, as well as raids. Obviously the new mythic's going to be a little more interesting. We are getting a new weapon with raids tomorrow, by the way. Let me go show it real quick. Let's see. I can't remember if it was viable or not. I know it's one of the double gem ones. I can't remember which one it was, though. Or, you know, the double gem creation thing based on a typing or kingdom. I can't remember specifically what for it was for. It was for, Stormheim. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, it's, wasn't it yellow-blue for Stormheim? I can't read that text. So small. Yeah, it's yellow-blue. It creates yellow and blue for Stormheim. Same kind of standard weapon that we've seen a billion of. Someone was asking the other day, Blue Tower of Doom is the next color of Tower of Doom, by the way. That's after this season, of course. Which is in, what, 3 weeks from now? But blue will be the next one. But yeah, tomorrow we're getting the weapon for Stormheim. I wish I had red. It's a little weird it doesn't have red. Because the main thing that's bad about that weapon is you can't do it with Yarrow Fire Mantle. If you had the access of doing that with Yarrow Fire Mantle, especially if it was red-yellow or if the weapon fed back into itself, that'd be really good. But one of the main ways that you would have capability to loop within Stormheim, you can't have access to while doing that weapon. Because doing it with yellow will not allow it to loop. Because it doesn't feed back into Yarrow Fire Mantle. I mean, yeah, Yarrow Fire Mantle. So you wouldn't be able to do it that way. Also, I'm using the incorrect team. I might as well do it while we're in. Also, I forgot to hand out the code. Let me go do that. But we're already here. Might as well finish up this battle real quick with the incorrect team. Because it's almost dead already. And now it is. Good old Phoenicia. Alright, we'll go switch that to the correct team. But before we do, let me go get you guys the code. Buried in our code section over here. Oh yeah, also, I was contacting, just for the fun of it. Remember the other day when I was joking about, or not joking about, but, well, it was somewhat joking. When we, kept getting, like, so many emails to play a bunch of random games. Because we keep getting, like, so many every single month, and I haven't really been touching them, like, at all. And, I ended up contacting, like, the most recent one. Just to kind of see if I could get some extra codes for the game and everything. And, they actually did. So I figured, hey, why not? So we might stream that this weekend, we'll see. It's some kind of dragon game. It looks very, very, very low quality, though it is being worked on by one person, so that could be the reason why. It also seems like they make a lot of games, so it's almost like shovelware in a sense. But I don't know. It has dragons. It's like 2 to 3 hours long, so if nothing else, play through it real quick. Mess around with it. We might do it this weekend, we'll see. It's not a sponsored thing, though. Though we did get the game for free. Which I'm pretty sure we have to disclose if we do a game like that. But there you guys go. There's the thingy thing. Use on gemsofwar.com underneath the gem code section. Gosh, I can't words right now. Words, how they work. But anyways, there's the redeem code. Use on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Simply click that link. It brings you there. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Whatever game says right over there is what you put in for your invite code. Redeem code's right over there in chat. Just copy and paste the random numbers and letters starting with 9p. And it gives the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Enjoy, everyone. There you guys go. And there we go. Okay, next order of business. Farm. All the farming. Except the right team. Go to Zugoff. Zugoff! Where are you? Let's get some tokens in. Gotta go level up that mythic note. We're definitely not using medals on that mythic, that's for sure. We need a good casting mythic. We need a casting mythic better than Phoenicia to come into the game and just be the new meta. And then go fully medal that. I want to see something come out that will actually make us want to medal it. Realistically, it has to be a mythic that scales on magic. That gains 6 magic. That has the ability that's better than Phoenicia off that 6 magic. That's all we need to replace Phoenicia. Like, Phoenicia is super replaceable. They just need a mythic with a slightly better ability than it, and Phoenicia will never be used again, pretty much. Though, to this day, they still have not added something better, which is kind of impressive that they haven't. Like, it's been almost 3 years now. definitely a solid 2 years that Phoenicia has been meta. Because when medals were added to the game is when she really started to shine. And that was done 1 year and 11 months ago. It was done in October of 2 years ago. So it's almost a 2-year mark. Next month it will be the 2-year mark of the gigantic, probably the most recent big meta shift in the game. Because that's when medals was introduced to the game. And that changed quite a few things. That's also when Sunbird officially got the nail in the coffin to never being viable again. Where Wayne just kind of completely passed it to such a degree that you would never use Sunbird again. Which is kind of sad. We haven't gotten to use Sunbird for about 2 years now because of that. It was already falling off of meta at that point. But when medals came in, it just became so ridiculously pointless to run Sunbird compared to Phoenicia. I mean, compared to Rowan, I mean. And then other things became really viable like Phoenicia. Anything that scaled really well from a little bit extra stats ended up going up a lot. So anything that gets a lot of value or doubling the value, tripling their value, stuff like that from various stats. Web spinner, triple damage. Oh, he's already viable for that. The web spinner or she, I mean. The fact that Phoenicia gets to double its damage off the Red Storm being active, stuff like that. And obviously Rowan having 2 times boost ratio for its thing. Things that had better boost ratios ended up becoming a lot better. Because there was more stats to do them based on. Because that was one of the biggest one-day stat increases in the game. That was a little while before people got niches. I think it took me about a month and a half before I had 3 niches. Because I believe it was December that I finally had 3 niches. Yet the event started in October. So it took me like a month and a half to get my first 3 niches. Which is kind of funny because it has taken us so long to get the current amount of niches we have. Hit the initial few, we grinded out like crazy. The first 3 matter the most. Which is probably why the rest were a bit slower. I have no problem for the code, everyone. Enjoy. If you guys still have any other questions and you want me to go over, let me know. Otherwise, we'll probably just be messing around with a little bit of metal farming. Or any other questions you guys want me to go over. And again, of course, tomorrow we'll be messing around with the Mythic mostly. And we will have a noon midday stream. We haven't done a midday stream for Gems of War for a little while now. Or then again, we did do it for Vault event though. But I'll be doing it again tomorrow. We'll be doing the entirety of raids and obviously mess with the Mythic. Maybe messing with the new weapon too. Unfortunately, the coloration on it I don't think is going to be viable to mess with. So I might just mess with the Mythic. Like a Stormheim weapon has potential to be good. It's just the 2 colors it creates are bad. Blue and yellow is just a weird mix. They're not a horrible mix for Stormheim. It's just not as strong as it could have been. Red yellow would have been the strongest. Red yellow that fed back into the weapon itself would have been broken beyond belief and it would have been hilarious. Unfortunately, it does not. I think there's only like 3 of those weapons that feed back into themselves. Stone Slicer would probably be one of the most relevant ones whenever we get a mech hero, a construct hero class. That still throws me off too, the fact that mechs and constructs are 2 different typings. They used to be the same typing way back when, but then they were divided into 2 typings. I'm not sure if it was done for balance reasons or just to have more or what. But it was divided into 2 at one point. That was like 3 years ago, I want to say. That's why we're doing that. We already had a skull, or did we? Oh well. Take the guarantee hit. You feel Scourge of Honor is closest. Yeah, Scourge of Honor is the closest thing to Phoenicia that isn't Phoenicia. There are some instances where Scourge of Honor is better than Phoenicia, though very rarely. And if you're doing a single cast, it's better just to go Phoenicia. There's some double cast situations where he's better. The other thing that's good about him is he doesn't have to worry about Storm. And that can be relevant sometimes. But basically, he's more viable if you need more than 1 cast in most situations. But if you only need 1 cast, Phoenicia tends to always be better. But if he needed exactly 2 casts, he can also be better than Phoenicia. It's normally not worth going out of your way to shift into him, though, compared to Phoenicia. Like, for something like pet battles, for that array of battles that you have, it's normally just more efficient using Phoenicia. Even though there's 2 or 3 battles where you have to double cast. Because their kill range is still wider than what's his name? Scourge of Honor. Though as more stats come into the game, but you know, they both scale the same way. Because true damage and dealing twice as much damage technically scales evenly. Unless you're in an area that has particularly low defense. I mean, HP, I mean. In which case, gosh, I keep forgetting his name. The Scourge of Honor would actually scale better in those situations. Though as stats get higher, the difference between HP and armor keeps getting, you know, not as relevant. Like, this thing has a high armor but low HP, but you'd barely notice it because, you know, the stats are so high. Like, even though this thing has a below average HP, you barely even notice because it's like 15 difference in something that has an average HP. And something that has a high HP barely looks any different than the other ones. It makes very little impact. The stats keep going higher and higher. Question, who is better among Elhamagrim and the Wardbreaker? They're both used for completely different things. I'm not sure which one would be better in the current state of the game. I feel like Elhamagrim is more unique in that he does stuff that other things can't already do. What Wardbreaker does, you could pretty much already do with other good options. Like, any board core option that already exists can kind of do what he does. One pretty noteworthy one as well is that pretty much everyone's going to try to get because it's such high priority for gnome events is you can get a very similar effect to Wardbreaker by simply doing Ironhawk. If you just use Ironhawk, you're basically using Wardbreaker, but different. It's really similar. It's not as big of an AoE burst, but it's a little bit more front-loaded, but still doing the AoE damage kind of spam with a bunch of other stuff. But it's basically just a weaker version of Ironhawk, and everyone wants to have 2 Ironhawk now for Bolt events. Because it's very beneficial to do so. It's not required, but it's definitely helpful to have them. But Elhamagrim gets to do something unique at least. He has an attack spam, he has impervious, he can also infinite loop off of purples. It's not as good as other options in the game, and it's not like a true infinite like Truffle is and a few other options. But it loops enough that it normally wins. It's kind of like Divinish Ball Aquila, and like it's not infinite, but it normally loops enough that you're probably going to win by then. And you can just put it within the furnace for the burn or something else. Yeah, between the two, I definitely go Elhamagrim. Elhamagrim doesn't have as good a synergy with other dragons, though, whereas Wardbreaker can be used with other dragons. It's not really too relevant, though, because pure dragon teams are near non-existent, and if you are going to go pure dragon team, you go with that one tank dragon that has a billion RNG aspects. Is normally the better one to synergize with. Also, as long as that one Underworld dragon still has 50% mana star, he's actually pretty good to build into dragon builds these days, too. There's still a chance they're going to revert him back to his previous ability, in which case that will be quite a nerf, oddly enough, because his 50% mana star is actually a better trait on him. Mostly because it's always a good trait. There's not a single thing that would have 50% mana start to all of a typing where that would be a bad situation. In almost every situation, that'd be stronger than any alternative, just because of how strong 50% mana start is. Doesn't mean all 50% mana start troops are strong, but the trait itself would be good in slot of almost any other trait. But a few exceptions. Obviously, there's some really strong ones out there, like Web Spinner, triple damage, and a few others. You can almost never go wrong with half mana start. Just such a strong typing. Since effectively, it's almost like 2 empowers. Not exactly. But if everything on your team had no mana start, and the thing that you're putting on it is given 50% for everything, you're essentially getting 2 whole troops full of mana. Which is kind of like double empower for one single troop. Not the exact same, because obviously it's not empower. You don't have full mana on anything. It's all distributed across them. But it's the exact same mana amount of double empower. Every 50% in the game technically is. Though, of course, you can also just put double empower on your team, which is why you see so many of those during Guild Wars. Because it's still that same amount of mana of just running a 50%, but it has the turn 1 advantage that AI will use correctly. As well as the player being able to use it to try to beat out the other empowers on the AI. Probably shouldn't have let her stay alive. Luckily she died instantly. It's always a huge liability having her up. Never know when it's going to do something scary. So if we plan on running Lord of Slaughter with the new Mythic, Arch Diva, would it be worth giving Lord of Slaughter extra 6 attack defense HP with gold medals? I would still wait on that. Maybe get his bronze level, because it's at least somewhat obtainable. I don't know, I wouldn't bother maxing him. Similar to how some people max Zugov, I personally don't feel like it's worth it. I don't feel like any Mythic that isn't +6 magic with an insanely good ability is ever going to be worth upgrading. Like any of the ones that just gain a little bit of attack, HP, stuff like that, I don't think a single one of them will ever be viable personally, compared to doing the magic-based ones. You just get so much more benefit from a 6 magic, especially if they have a way to scale that magic in a way that doubles it. Yeah, I don't intend to get another Mythic up for a while until we get another good magic one. Even if a tank Mythic becomes ultra meta in first slot, it's likely still won't be viable enough to bother upgrading. Because gaining a little bit extra durability means almost nothing for how much Mythics cost. And having like a slightly higher attack does very little in most situations. Because very rarely will that few extra attack be the difference between getting a kill a turn early or not. Especially now that we're getting more Uber Doomskulls and Doomskull mechanics. Meaning that every single damage becomes less valuable, since there's ways to boost that damage even further. And the likelihood that a few extra would cover the gap would be very unlikely, or increasingly unlikely as stats go higher. Because magic is something that doesn't really ever becomes a bad thing, having more of. Whereas attack, you need a really specific amount of attack that keeps going higher and higher before it becomes viable. Because the main premise of attack and having it higher is you ideally want to kill what enemy that you would have killed a whole turn earlier than they would have killed otherwise if you didn't have that attack. But the problem with that is as durability gets higher, the threshold for that also becomes weirder. Because the way that attack kind of works is durability goes up. Since attack goes a little bit lower, you generally gain more durability than you do attack as stats come into the game. And the big issue with this is you basically need like twice as many attack then for it to really cover that gap. Or more like a 1.3 or 1.5 ratio or so of how much extra attack, because more durability is coming in than natural attack value. And this just makes the gap larger and larger for how much extra attack you end up needing before it actually ends up mattering. Because, for example, what we're doing now, having extra attack actually does nothing. Because we're one-shotting regardless of having extra attack or not. It's why we run magic instead of seasons. Because having extra attack in this particular situation right now with our current stats has no difference on if we will one-shot or not. And there's a lot of instances of that within the game. That makes it so having the extra attack doesn't matter. And the reason why it's relevant for magic is a lot of magic have multi-hits, especially the ones that you would actually want to upgrade. And because they have multi-hits, it's more likely that they're going to hit one of those. Because if you're hitting 4 things compared to 1 thing, the likelihood that having 1 extra stat is going to make the difference between a kill or not a kill is substantially higher, 4 times higher. So it's a lot better than having it for attack, since attack can only ever hit 1 thing, whereas magic can hit up to 4. Meaning that 1 extra magic could potentially have 4 different rolls. That 1 extra magic would have been enough to get the kill. Whereas attack can only ever roll it for 1 thing at a time. Which is probably the biggest difference, I would say. Let's see what throw that down. And one of the main reasons why Mythics with magic gain are probably the only ones that are ever going to be viable to upgrade. The +6 magic gains. Though I don't feel like any of them other than Phoenicia is really that worth it right now. But you could theoretically go Scourge of Honor or Phoenicia. I would probably stick with Phoenicia though. It's the more common pick. You technically could go with Scourge of Honor as your only upgraded Mythic though. I don't care for using it as much personally. If you prefer the playstyle, it would work though. Oh, why did I do that? I already had full mana. Whoops. Luckily we extra turn, so it didn't matter as much. I did not need to do that. Didn't really matter much at the end though. Why is Gup Truffle better than Beatrix? It has a better infinite loop. Beatrix is better. It depends what you're trying to do with your team. The main thing that gives Beatrix value is Cleanse, and the fact that true damage can just tear apart like crazy. Beatrix has better, quicker damage while also having Cleanse. So when Beatrix works, when it works correctly, it works way better than Truffle at a way quicker speed. The main reason why Truffle I personally prefer in a lot of situations, assuming you don't need Cleanse, is it has a better infinite loop. Beatrix is not as good at infinite looping. Whereas Truffle is one of the only things in the entire game that has a true infinite. Meaning it literally will never end its infinite if you do it correctly. Once you get it to a certain point. And that's mostly with Forest Troll, Double Truffle. Ideally with Greenstorm, though, it's not required to infinite loop it, though it does help make it more consistent. No, but Beatrix does have more burst capability. Like, it's going to kill the enemy quicker. Cleanse is insane. The 4x Cleanse on is one of the best traits in the entire game. And it overall is better in that regard. But when it comes to sheer winnability, I do personally feel like Truffle's a bit better. And it also has the most consistent, most accessible infinite loop in the entire game. Since it's a faction legends. Well, they're both faction legends. But it's a faction legend that doesn't need traits necessarily to get it. Actually, it kind of does. Never mind. It does have its gem spawn scaled based on the thing. I almost forgot about that. So you actually do need the traits. Similar to Beatrix. Because obviously if you're using Beatrix, you're using her for her Cleanse. You do use her for true damage too, but generally you're doing it because of that Cleanse. And the true damage is this extra benefit. Because gosh, is that Cleanse trait amazing. It's probably like top 5 trait in the entire game. It does get hard countered by Obsidious though. Because all Obsidious has to do is take an extra turn and she doesn't have her stun, her Cleanse anymore. Due to the stun. Oh, we'll take a red. I still think we'll make this our final chest for now. So any other questions? Let me know, everyone. Come on, I want to see that double Nisha minimum go. That is double Orpheus, very much the wrong metal. Hey, they're still blue, they got it close. It's not the right blue one though. We need a shinier blue. They did still give us a blue metal, 2 of them though. Gave us the wrong one. Though technically, Orpheus is a mythic. The metal isn't though. But anyways, guys, so yeah, unfortunately they did nerf the new mythic. But it's coming out in 6 hours from now. We'll be covering it tomorrow morning. We'll have a video up at some point tomorrow morning going over the new mythic. Aside from that, we'll be doing the video then and then covering the stream probably around noon. And then we'll go from there and do our normal stream at tomorrow night. Same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and go from there. But anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by as always. Greatly appreciated. Feel free to leave a like or stream. Helps out a lot. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Same time as always. Also be back during the day. Also have a video up on the Mythic. So that's pretty much the game plan. And during the stream, during the day tomorrow, we'll mostly be messing around with the raid and the Mythic. Tomorrow night's stream will mostly be wrapping up loose ends as far as weekly systems. And probably messing around mostly with the Mythic. Since we're already going to have raids done in the previous stream during the day. That's pretty much the game plan. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys then. Let's take this last tribute. Let's guess the gem number 21. I got it correctly. That wasn't desync or anything with audio. That was just me actually guessing it correctly. Though statistically, I actually have a good chance of doing it because I'm pretty sure my gem average right now is 21 with the current amount of upgrades I have. So it's the most likely way to be correct. Because I'm pretty sure that's my average amount of gems per tribute. If you have every kingdom in the game, I'm pretty sure it's a 21 average tribute right now. And I just guessed 21 because that's about where the average is. And we got it exactly. How convenient. Anyways, guys, too bad we can't call the Nisha medals that well.